Good morning, welcome back to Marty's Tying Bench. This morning I'm putting together Vice Squad kits, and since it's winter time, we're going to go with the number one dry midge pattern. It's a cluster midge, a Griffith Gnat. We're going to tie it in a Hi Viz version. The one you see in the camera is black, and black, you'll be surprised, is a lot easier to pick up when there's a little bit of glare on the water. But you might want to tie it in a bright color, tie it in a variety. Post material is some sort of a poly yarn or antrod, and you'll see there's a variety of colors. And you also see there's a variety of densities here. This black one is pretty thick. We'll need to thin that one out. I'm going to use that color. Let's tie one in black. This is a size 16 hook. For practice, it's a little easier to tie on a big one. And the Hackle is sized for a size 16 hook. You know, these midges are small, but when they do cluster, they fit on a lot bigger hook, so yay, good for us. Use a fine thread. This is A-dot. I like Danville's, or in this case I'm using Uni. We're going to tie the post in somewhere in the middle of the hook. It really doesn't matter whether it's in the front or in the back, but when it's in the middle, it's a lot easier to work around with the Hackle and the Peacock. So I'm going to separate what I think is going to be a good volume. And tie that in with one wrap and then a second wrap right on top of it, and it's pretty tight. Lift that out of the way and get a couple of anchor wraps in front of it, anchor wrap or two behind it, and then we're going to post it like we were going to do parachute. We're only going to make 3 or 4 turns. All we need to do is keep that bundled under there. Now I'm going to cut it to a working length. We'll trim it when we finish the fly. But I want enough that I can get up there and twist it and lean it forward out of the way. My Hackle is grizzly. You can tie it with grizzly and brown. You want something that's not much longer than the hook gap. I'm going to peel a little extra away from the stem so that when I tie it in, there's some stem sticking out. I'm going to get one turn behind to kind of lock that up in a cocked position. That'll make it easier to start. And you know, I don't crowd the bend of the hook. Keep this on the straight part of the shank. It's alright if you tie a shorter Griffith Gnat on a bigger hook. It starts to look kind of funky if you crowd the eye or the bend of the hook. Now I'm going to get a couple of strands of Peacock and break off what's probably a tender and brittle end anyway, and tie this in and bring my thread all the way to the front. Again, let's twist that out of the way. And we're going to make peacock wraps right up to the post. Bend it the other direction so we can get past it. And come up near the eye. We're going to leave some space so we have a nice clean tie off and head. Bend that forward and out of the way. And if you can, make that first turn right up into the peacock just a little bit. And when I get to the yarn, I'll bend that back out of the way. and tie that off. Oops. Ready for a whip finish. Not a complicated fly, but there's those couple little tricks in there will help you make a neat one and make them all identical. I'm going to trim this off right up at the same length, and then I'm going to push it down and spread it out a little bit. If you use a poly yarn, you'll get a little aid to your flotation. If you use an Antron yard, you'll get a little brighter color. So pick the post material that you like, that you see the best. So there you go, Griffith's Gnat, Hi Viz, low light, little variety here.